As a farmer, you know the food you grow is part of a system that reaches from the seed all the way to the dinner table. Along the way, food is touched at many points in the system, and each touch has its own potential for contamination. Being proactive and taking steps to reduce the risk of contamination and outbreaks is essential. The problem is that the source of an outbreak is usually invisible. Most are caused by tiny organisms called microbes. These can hitch a ride on produce, spread through the system, and eventually reach the public, causing foodborne illness. It's these microbes that represent the biggest risk to your farm and livelihood. But the risk can be managed by understanding where microbes come from and how to prevent them from hitching a ride. That's the goal of GAP certification, reducing the risk of contamination at touch points throughout your farm. The first part of the review process, General Questions, focuses on the big picture. It starts with record keeping and confirming that someone oversees your food safety and traceability programs. These records are essential because the source of an issue is often a mystery. If an outbreak occurs, officials will look for the source. Without accurate records, the whole farm may be considered a risk. But with consistent record keeping, the mystery can be solved more quickly and the risk to your farm greatly reduced. Now, let's look at the most common source of contamination: people. Think about it like this. An employee wearing gloves handles a hoe used for raw manure, and microbes stick to their gloves. Then, without washing hands and changing gloves, they touch a line of produce in a packing facility. This innocent act can contaminate a whole load of produce, raise the risk of an outbreak, and threaten the livelihoods of many farms. When workers handle produce, safe hygiene and health practices are essential. Farms can think of their produce as being in a clean zone that keeps food separate from sources of contamination. For example, those who are smoking or eating need a separate designated area, and those who are sick should not be allowed near produce. Further, before entering a clean zone, workers should wash their hands and wear clean gloves. To make personal hygiene easy, farms should have clean restroom facilities with proper supplies, training for all employees, and signage to remind everyone to wash their hands. By understanding the risk of microbes, the role of record keeping, and why people are often a source of problems, we can see why GAP certification matters to every farm. Next, we'll dive into the checklist, starting with farm review and management of water, animals, manure, and soil.